Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legge here representing Team JVS. I'm back again for another movie review. This movie is going to be coming to theaters September the 25th. I'm talking about Kajillionaire. Now, Kajillionaire was directed by Miranda July. She wrote and directed this, and it stars Evan Rachel Wood. You normally know her from Westworld. Gina Rodriguez, Richard Jenkins, and Debra Winger. What did I think about this film that was made by Focus for Features? I actually enjoyed it. Like, to be quite honest with you, like, I actually really dug it. And one of the reasons why is I think that from a script standpoint and from a dialogue standpoint, there is a lot of rich, interesting character dialogue within these characters. And I didn't, if I had one, first off, honestly, I'd never seen the actual trailer for it. I just saw the poster. I knew who the cast was. I might have heard like one blip of something. There's one specific line that Richard Jenkins says. His character's name is Robert. He's the dad. And they're kind of in a bar or whatever. And he was talking in lines of like these tremors that keep on happening throughout most of the course of this movie. And he was something along the lines of, you know, if you're lucky, you're just going to get crushed and just die right then and there. I was like, what is wrong with this man? And you start to find out from the very opening shot, you know, that this is a very weird group of people that are actually technically a family, but they work in lines like they are partners in crime because they're technically grifters, but they're also thieves. And the synopsis reads this, is that a woman's life is turned upside down when her criminal parents invite an outsider to join them in a major heist they are planning. Now, I'll say this, in terms of the way that the movie was actually shot, I think the cinematography makes sense for the way that this movie actually flows. I would have specifically, there's certain moments and key moments in the third and second act that I would have said that they should have had a little bit more close-up shots, or like close-up shots that you have two characters like really close proximity to each other, like if you're just kind of focused in on that as opposed to one linear shot sometimes. Because in the very opening, like there were certain key shots that worked very well. Like a very opening shot where they're kind of like at a bank, they're all just kind of like sitting there, and all of a sudden like Evan Rachel Wood just breaks out, and you think she's dancing, but she's like actually kind of maneuvering around this camera. Like that shot was actually really well done. There's another shot where she's on a massage table, and that's credit also to Wood in her performance with that specific sequence. But it was shot very well because it was very telling of her character. And I think that there's a lot of different moments that specifically when it comes to the dialogue and the way that it's actually captured within the confines of most of the personal character moments, that you're able to kind of flush out certain good, rich details about these characters that are fundamentally flawed in a lot of different respects. Like when you think about like both of the parents, initially I was kind of watching it and I was kind of like, man, they're just like, they just don't know how to help themselves. But no, they know exactly what they're doing. And there's certain aspects to that it made me go back and watch the movie all over again, to be quite honest with you. I went and I watched it all the way through and I was like, wait. Let me go back. And again, that is a credit to the writing and the actual scripting and the dialogue, because there's a lot of rich details about these characters that you would, on paper, you would say, oh, this is uninteresting. But no, like I found myself like, you know, what makes, you know, the parents act this way? Why do they freak out during like an actual earthquake or tremor? Why is the mom limping for no good reason? Why is it that, you know, the character Dolio, it has like this sensitivity to touch? Everything is technically there. Like the way that it's actually shot and the way that it's actually written out, and there are certain things that are implied that you're going to have to actually just assess. There's one specific moment that takes place in the dark in it takes place with a whirlpool that is very telling of some things that I was kind of like, oh, huh. And that's one good example. So I think the way that it's actually directed and shot and written it was very good. And I think that's the heart and meat and potatoes of this. Now, acting. Evan Rachel Wood as Dolio, she's unrecognizable. Not physically, not her face. I think that definitely the hair definitely allows her to do certain things, and definitely her attire, but her mannerisms and the way that she interacts, and how introverted and closed off and conditioned she actually is. Like, she doesn't even understand certain conversations. It's kind of like a combination of Room in terms of the boy character, as well as certain aspects of Parasite. Initially, there was a certain point in this beginning acts of this movie, I was kind of like, oh man, this is going to be kind of like a knockoff on Parasite, and it's not. I can promise you that. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but this is not Parasite. This is a very fundamentally different movie on so many different levels. And I don't think it's as intense as Parasite, and it's not as pivotal in terms of, what Parasite actually really was, the meat and potatoes of it. This is just a good character study of what certain interactions and social interactions that people have when they are fundamentally flawed, and they try to have these ideas of where their life should go, and it just is not correct sometimes, and that leaves casualties. And I think that the character Dolio is a casualty of, some things and decisions that she's just born into. Then you got Gina Rodriguez's character, Marlene. Okay. I'm gonna say this. Her character, Gina's character, I initially watched it and I was like, oh, like she's just all bubbly and stuck up, and like she just doesn't understand, and she's just like rolling with the flow. And then the second act I watched, I was like, wait, she seems like a completely different person, And I realized in watching it the second time, the whole entire movie, she's just a cute, sweet soul that is just going along for the ride. And you don't know, if you're not really paying attention to the dialogue, you're not paying attention to the mannerism, you're not paying attention to what's happening with certain interactions that the parents as well as Dolio is doing, you realize, whoa, there's something else going on that you didn't even know. And I didn't catch it until the second time watching it. That's one of the things I love about it, because Gina Rodriguez plays that character so specifically, and I really do appreciate it. As well as there are certain things that happen throughout the movie. I take that back. There's certain specific key things that happen that if you're not paying attention to it, you're going to miss it because it's a callback to something else later. And I love movies like that. There's one moment where Gina Rodriguez's character is at the airport and she's kind of having an open conversation. She just kind of winks at Evan Rachel Wood's character. And I was like, and first time I watched it, I was like, what does that mean? And then later on, you get to understand why that is. And there's so many different pivotal moments that specifically in the last third act, like everything rounds out well that makes this film feel like just a good movie. Like, it's not, I personally feel like this would be better suited on VOD. I really think that a lot of people would really watch it and actually vibe with it and have fun with it. This is not a movie I feel like should be in the theaters necessarily, and that's not a knock on the movie. I'm going to give the movie an 8 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed the movie. The reason why I say that this shouldn't be something to be at the theaters, because this movie actually works better when you watch it again. And you get the actual dialogue and the focus on what's really happening and the imagery. There's certain imagery that kind of spark certain things. I'll give you another example. There's their tenant. He's got this mental condition where he has no filter. So when he feels emotions, when he gets hurt or he's angry, like he just has no filter of being able to control it. And the parents use that to their advantage. Even in where they're actually living, technically, is in like an office space that's next to a bubble factory. The bubble factory is bleeding in to the office space, so they're getting over. Like everything that their actual family, this group of 3 is doing, it's about getting over, trying to get money. And it's not on some, they're just homeless and doing things. Like, no, these people, know a lot, and they just still put themselves in a messed up situation. I don't know whether it's conditionally certain things that people listen to. I mean, like the mom maybe listens to dad, or Dolly is allowing or is an enabler. There's one specific line of dialogue that happens with Gina Rodriguez's character when her and Evan Rachel Wood are together, and she's like, "You're addicted to them," and I was like, "Dang, what does that actually really mean?" And also, great chemistry between Evan Rachel Wood and Gina Rodriguez. That's all I'm really gonna say. Really great chemistry. I mean, honestly, the whole entire cast flowed naturally through this when all of the characters are just so weird. And again, that's a credit to Miranda July. Miranda July's writing and directing through this. I think she executed a very well put together film and story that I think would be better if people could be able to see it over and over again. I really pray that they rush it to VOD after their September the 25th release date. So definitely go and check it out. But if you're gonna go and check it out in the movie theaters, please focus in on everything that you see, everything that you're hearing. The small, subtle dialogue is very important, and I love movies like that, and hopefully you do too. Again, this movie I give an 8 out of 10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. I'll talk to you guys a bit later on. Keep it locked. JBS, we ain't gonna stop. Have a blessed one, guys. Peace.